Welcome to the JP8 report. This is James Pierce with the JP8 report, episode 337. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the JP8 report. So, been a pretty busy morning, and that's okay. If you didn't see the morning brief this morning, it was pretty rough at the very beginning, but that's all right. But thank y'all very much for tuning into the JP8 report. Don't forget, as we get started, to click that follow button if you're not yet a follower of the JP8 report. And where's my pencil? There it is. And then also, oh, there it is. Click that like button right beside it, which is a thumbs up. And also, don't forget to share in the chat. Refresh. Hold on, just there I am. Okay, cool. Got to make sure I'm on my monitor and stuff. And if you noticed on the live chat, Rob, he goes by Padre. He's my hall monitor. He figured out how to do emotes and showed me, and I made a Texas flag. So that's cool. So if you're from Texas, you'll want to have fun with it. Go for it. This is the 190th anniversary of the Battle of the Alamo. That's one of the things we're going to be talking about also. But yeah, welcome to the JP8 report. And then where's my outline? So we will get to that in just a second. So America 250. So it's been 190 years since Alamo, but it's been 250 years for the United States, or the United Colonies back then, right? So on this day, not much happened. It's Saturday, February 24th, 1776. They're coming out of winter. They're spinning up. We all know that they're about to take on Boston. They get rid of the siege because all these cannons, I think there was 66 cannons that were moved from Fort Ticonderoga in New York, and it took forever to get them to Boston. It's amazing what snow and ice and heavily wooded terrain will do to moving a cannon. Make sure everything's going good here. Okay. Some 4 elements that will tell you about for America 250 is it says in Maryland, John Kirby enlisted as a private in the 6th Company of the 1st Maryland Regiment. And you're like, why? What's that matter to me, right? The company eventually became part of the famous Maryland 400, known for their heroic stand at the Battle of Brooklyn, which take places at the end of 1776. And then Major General Philip Schuyler, which was instrumental in the Quebec campaign, wrote to John Hancock regarding the Committee of Indian Affairs, and he forwarded a letter to him from James Dean, not the movie star, about Oneida Indians and the meetings of the Six Nations at their council house. And then Stephen Molan, acting on behalf of George Washington, issued passes for captains of captured prize ships and ordered the vessel Harrison out of commission. And in Virginia, John Augustine Washington sent a letter to his brother, George Washington, enclosing the proceedings and ordinance of the 4th Virginia Convention. And then at the time, the siege of Boston is nearing its conclusion, with Washington preparing to move artillery to Dorchester Heights just days later. The siege of Boston will end, I think, the 17th of March, and it was General Howe would evac the entire city because of the threat of all the artillery and mortars that were being moved from Dorchester, and they did not want to lose more soldiers. But that's what happened this day in history on 1776. All right. All right. So, and then with the Dalmatian, let me see, Dalmatian. I didn't get to show this yesterday. So Dalmatian Burger Group from Texas, right here in Copper's Cove. They make smash burgers and hot dogs, homemade. Everything is from scratch, including their buns. They're open right now, 11 to 2 for lunch, Monday through Saturday, and then for dinner, they're open from 5:30 to 7, Tuesday through Saturday, unless they sell out first. And if you see the armadillo on there, it's a jalapeno burger. Awesome. It's got jam on it. All right. So those are my buddies right there on that. And then the next thing I wanted to talk about is the day is the 190th anniversary of the writing of the victory or death letter from Lieutenant Colonel William Barrett Travis. Okay, so I'm going to show you the letter so everybody can see it. Transition. There's a copy of the letter. All right, the left side is the first page, and the second side is the second page of it, and it's the credits from the Daughters of the Texas Revolution. So that's where I got the picture from. So everybody knows I just didn't lift it and put it on there. All right, you gotta give people credit for their work and stuff, right? So that is the letter. I'm going to read the letter too, so everybody has a chance to see it. I'll just leave it on there as I read it, okay? Let's see. Go up. All right. Sent this to San Felipe by express night and day, to the people of Texas and all Americans. Commander of the Alamo, Behar, February 24th, 1836. To the people of Texas and all Americans in the world, fellow citizens and compatriots, I am besieged by 1,000 or more Mexicans under Santa Ana and have sustained a continual bombardment and cannonade for 24 hours and have not lost a man. The enemy has demanded a surrender at discretion, otherwise the garrison are to be put to the sword. If the fort is taken, I have answered the demand with a cannon shot, and our flag still waves proudly from the walls. I shall never surrender or retreat. Then I call on you in the name of liberty, of patriotism, and everything dear to the American character to come out to our aid with all dispatch. The enemy is receiving reinforcements daily and will no doubt increase to 3,000 or 4,000 in 4 or 5 days. If this call is neglected, I am determined to sustain myself as long as possible and die like a soldier who never forgets what is due to his own honor and that of his country. Victory or death. William Barrett Travis, Lieutenant Colonel Commanding. P.S. The Lord is on our side. When the enemy appeared in sight, we had not 3 bushels of corn. We have since found in deserted houses 80 or 90 bushels and got into the walls 20 or 30 head of beeves. Travis. That was bees or cattle, just so you know. All right. So that was 190 years ago. I'm a Texan. That letter is dear to me, as well as to a lot of other people. You know, people talk about the Declaration of Independence, but they don't talk about that letter. And that letter means a lot. 176 approximate men died for that letter. And when he drew that line across the sand, nobody crossed it. Nobody crossed it to surrender themselves to Santa Ana. They stood there and died like soldiers, like men, um, and that's the way things are done. If you have never ever visited the Alamo, you need to. All right, you need to visit it at least once. And there's more to do in San Antonio than just visit the Alamo. If you want to visit historical places, you got Austin right up the road. You got Gonzales, where the Texas Revolution began on October 2nd, 1835, with the Come and Take It battle, when Mexican forces said, "Give us that cannon," and we said, "No, come and take it." And we kept it. All right, and then there's Goliad, which is due south of San Antonio, almost on the coast of Texas, with the Gulf of America. But there's all kinds of things around there. If you go 2 hours east of San Antonio, you'll run into San Jacinto on the east side of Houston. That's where we won our independence against Santa Anna in an 18-minute battle. I think it was 18-minute battle. 15 Texans died, and we killed, I think, close to 900 Mexican soldiers. We fought for our independence and won it, right? And that is something that's very close. In 10 more years, in 2036, Texas will be celebrating our 200th anniversary that we fought and died for, thanks to a lot of Americans that came to our aid, like guys like the most famous of them, Davy Crockett from Tennessee. He was an ex-congressman that came here for a better life. That Sam Houston, our first president, and our one of our governors, and left and came here for a better life. You got Stephen F. Austin, and you got all kinds of people. Moses Austin, which started the 300. I think it's called the 300. Texas is rich in history, and right now we have like 32 million people live here. But we had to start somewhere, and we did. All right, but that's our Texas history lesson for the day. We'll get on to American news, but Texas is special to me, and if you like Texas, put a Texas flag in the chat. I added it thanks to Rob, which he's on there right now. Add a Texas flag. I'll put one in there so everybody can see it, like I did a little bit earlier. There, and then post. There we go. There's mine. All right. So thank you all very much for letting me tell you all about my great state of Texas. All right. All right. So next thing is a quick update on Nancy Guthrie. There was an update this morning. Savannah Guthrie up the family reward to $1 million. And also they made a contribution of $500,000 to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. So that they're putting $1.5 million of their own money into this. Someone knows something. I'm gonna transition back over so you can see. Now they're saying the guy in the picture who is not taken, the pictures weren't taken the night of the abduction. So people are looking at the abduction letter, pictures of this with the guy in the Ozark backpack and stuff, that they're saying he might have done a recounter. I don't know. Maybe the person that actually abducted her didn't even look like that. It's just something. Maybe they're holding those pictures back, right? So they can go find them. All right. So this says, like Fox News, Savannah Guthrie on Instagram video Tuesday morning, which is today, announced a family reward of up to $1 million for the recovery of her mother, Nancy Guthrie. The 84-year-old is believed to have been abducted from her Tucson home in the middle of the night on February 1st. The family is also donating $500,000 to the National Center for missing and exploited children. According to the today's host Instagram post, in order to support other families. It's a very nice gesture. Please keep praying without ceasing. That says it over and over and over again in the Bible. We still believe. We still believe in a miracle. We still believe that she can come home. Hope begets hope. As my sister says, we are blowing on the embers of hope. However, she also acknowledged the grim possibility while pleading for help from anyone with knowledge of what happened to her mother. We know she may be lost, Savannah said. She may already be gone. She may have already gone home to the Lord, that she lives and is dancing in heaven with her mom and her dad and her beloved her brother Pierce, same name as me, and with our daddy, because if you didn't know, Savannah Guthrie lost her father, I believe, in 1989. So he went home to heaven a long time ago, just like my wife. My wife, in 1971, lost her father, and her mom passed away in 2015. So that's a long difference in time. But that's beside the point. In the caption, she urged anyone with information to call 1-800-CALL-FBI. It says the reward can be split if multiple people provide valid leads, and the family has been advised not to offer it sooner to avoid overwhelming investigators who have already received tens of thousands of calls. The decision to offer the reward came after the consultation with law enforcement. Nancy Guthrie was last seen January 31st after going to dinner at the home of her other daughter, Annie, when she failed to meet friends for church the following morning. The family went to check on her and called 911 to report her missing around noon. Police have not publicly identified a suspect or persons of interest, but shocking video emerged. We've all seen the video. If anyone has seen, I'll put it back up there one more time. All right. Remember, 1-800-CALL-FBI. If you've seen her or the person identified in these pictures or in the videos that everybody saw, okay? Pray that they can get some type of answers. That's just too long to go without their mom. Before I get to the State of the Union stuff, so on Graham Allen this morning and on Dan Bongino, I listen to Dan all the time. I'm a P1 Dan Bongino listener. I've listened to him all the time for years, right? This morning, he took almost 40 minutes of his podcast to condemn the person that I don't even want to talk about because she's evil. Her initials, Charlie Oscar, CO. I'm not even going to mention her name because she's evil and vile, and she just needs to go away permanently. She needs to go with her husband to England and just disappear and leave us all alone for what she's doing to the Kirk family. This is utter nonsense. It's evil. It's demonic. And Graham spent, I believe, almost a whole hour on his show about her. And then Dan Bongino, out of the blue. This is the State of the Union Day. We should all be bragging about everything about the president, about the president and his priorities, right? That which I'm about to get into. and he spent 40 minutes in support of Erica Kirk and her family against the vile demonic forces of the person name is Charlie Oscar. I'm not saying the person's name at all. They can do this all on their own. I support Graham Allen and I support Dan Bongino, and I definitely support Erica Kirk. Okay, so you will never ever hear me say anything derogatory about the Kirk family because I fully support Turning Point USA. All right, there, we're done with that part. If you like that, put an American flag in the chat for me, please. All right, so let's get on with the JP8 report. Man, I'm flustered already. So the president has to do this speech. He was invited by the Speaker of the House to come before the joint session of Congress. It says, and I told you I was going to read this morning, so I am. It's just a couple of sentences from the United States Constitution. It's Article 2, Section 3, first sentence. He shall from time to time give to Congress information of the state of the Union and recommend to their consideration such measures as he shall judge necessary and expedient. He may, on extraordinary occasions, convene both houses or either of them, and in the case of disagreement between them, with respect to the time of adjournment, he may adjourn them in such time as he shall think proper, and to receive ambassadors and other public ministers, and he shall take care of the laws to be faithfully executed, and shall commission all the officers of the United States. All right. So, that being said, from time to time, shall give Congress information on the state of the Union. Okay. It does not say that he's got to appear in person to give a speech, but it has become tradition because, like Dan Bongino says, sound bites and snapshots is what wins elections. And if you're not seen, you're not heard, and nobody knows what's going on. Like, if a tree falls in a forest and no one's there, does it make a noise? Plain and simple, right? So, it used to, the president would just send a letter to the speaker, and then they would distribute it equally, right? Well, I forgot to look it up when the first speech was given for the State of the Union, but it's since I've been alive, and I've been alive since 1968. All right, so that's where it comes. Article 2, Section 3 of the United States Constitution. Okay, let me put this back over here. Clear some space on my desk. This goes here. This goes here. All right. So I've already talked about that, and I've talked about that. All right. Hold on just a second. Cool. All right. So, State of the Union. State of the Union is this evening. It's at 9 p.m. Eastern. President said to expect a long speech because he has a lot to cover, since the lamestream media will not give the president his day, and they're always repeating negative stuff about the president because they hate his guts. This is his time to be in front of the American people so he can say really what's going on. Thanks, Rob. All right. So I got this article right here. It's a lot of pictures in it. See? It's from the Epoch Times. 5 things to watch at President Trump's State of the Union. All right. Before we go into there, I don't understand about this designated survivor thing, but the Democrats have designated a designated survivor. The only real person that is a designated survivor is the president. He goes the president, the vice president. He goes to the Speaker of the House. He goes to the Senate Pro Tem, and I believe the Attorney General, and then the Secretary of State, and there's a whole list all the way down to the Department of Homeland Security. All right, that's how you do line of succession for the presidency. So I don't understand this other thing, right? What the Democrats have just put out a few minutes ago. Mike Thompson, Democrat of California, from the People's Republic of California, has identified himself as one of the designated survivors ahead of the President Donald Trump's State of the Union address Tuesday night. Wonder if he's even... No, he won't be there. Designated survivors do not attend the President's address in person, and instead watches it from obscure, undisclosed location. I bet he's going to be at the People's Rally. I would like for someone to look for where his sorry good-for-nothing butt is tonight. I bet it's going to be at the People's Rally. I have been selected as a designated survivor for tomorrow's State of the Union, so I won't be there in person, but I'll be watching. Americans deserve accountability for militarization of ICE, terrorization of our communities, and killing of American citizens. Okay, sure. So he won't be attending, but his personal guest will be a Marine Corps veteran and small business owner and city councilman Bernie Navarez from Napa. He's a rich person. He must have been an officer in the military because it sounds like he's a winemaker from Napa Valley. So if you don't know the Constitution, about what's going on and how they do this was, hold on. Yep. So if something should happen and there's a natural disaster or a terrorist act and all the members of the House of Representatives are killed, okay? Just happens, right? I don't understand this designated survivor junk that they're talking about. The Constitution says that if something if there's a vacancy, the governor of the state has his the governor of the state has 90 days to convene elections to fill said vacancy in the House of Representatives. So if something like that should happen, there would be special elections across the United States, and they would reconstitute the House of Representatives, and the governor of each state would reappoint 2 new senators from every state, and then appropriate actions would have been taken. And if the president was involved in such a disaster, you would go, like I was just saying, Vice President, Speaker of the House, Senate Pro Tem. Senate Pro Tem is the longest serving senator from the political party that's in the majority. Okay, so it wouldn't be John Thune. I think it's Chuck Grassley. I think is the Senate Pro Tem right now. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, retired Rob. First State of the Union address was delivered by President George Washington on January 8th, 1790 in New York City. Roger. Hey, if you can, since you're online with me, hey, can you look up to see who the current Senate Pro Tem is in the United States Senate? All right. So we got all that done. Let's start talking about the State of the Union before I run out of time here. All right, because I'm looking forward to tonight, and I will give a whole rundown of what I learned in the State of the Union tomorrow morning during the morning brief and during the JP8 report at noon. All right. Oh, wait a minute. We got breaking news here. Team USA Hockey Men's arrives in D.C. Okay, cool. They'll be at the State of the Union also. So President Donald Trump is set to deliver his first State of the Union address of his second term on February 24th, which is tonight, when he is expected to highlight uh, his administration's accomplishments and seize the moment to shore up support for Republicans ahead of the critical 2026 elections. Historically, hold on, I got it. Sounds good. Uh, Historically, the president's party almost always suffers midterm losses, and the House appears especially vulnerable this year. Trump, eager to reverse that trend, is set to deliver a lengthy speech promoting the policy wins over the past year. It's going to be a long speech because we have so much to talk about, the president said during an event at the White House on February 23rd. There will be some tear-jerking moments, the White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt told Fox News this morning. So that shows how current this article is. He will celebrate the 250th anniversary of America's independence by sharing stories of America's heroes. He will also talk about his record-setting accomplishments and outline an ambitious agenda to improve affordability for Americans. Chuck Grassley, as you can see in the chat, or after the podcast, you can hear me. Chuck Grassley is the current president pro tem of the United States Senate. Thank you, Rob. Camera's this way, not this way. Here are 5 things to watch at this year's State of the Union. With 8 months until midterms, Republicans are working to win voters, especially independents who backed Trump in 2024. The majority of voters are still anxious about the high cost of living, according to recent polls. Trump is likely to prioritize the economy in his speech and talk about what he has done to lower gas. We are hovering around $2 a gallon here in the Killeen, Copperas Cove, the Killeen area. Housing and healthcare costs for American families. With tax season underway, he will announce that substantial refunds are on the way due to tax relief from the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. Luke Neicher, professor of presidential studies at Chapman University in Orange, California, believes that Trump's primary message will be about midterms. He wants to make sure those enthusiastic supporters are still enthusiastic. They still support him and continue to turn out this fall, Neicher told the Epoch Times. The speech comes on the heels of the Supreme Court's decision last week that struck down tariffs under the 1977 EPA Act. Trump sharply criticized the justices who supported the ruling and has since pledged to raise global tariffs to 15% using other statutory authorities. During a February 20th press conference, Trump said he was ashamed of certain members of the court. Hence, his tone and remarks toward the justices in the room will be closely watched during the address. I'm pretty sure he will be professional in all his comments. Trump is expected to make the case for high tariffs, even as some Republican lawmakers have expressed concerns about their economic impact. Immigration will be a key topic as the Department of Homeland Security remains shut down due to an ongoing disagreement between the White House and congressional Democrats. Trump is expected, and there was a True Social that just came out, to defend his administration's policies while adopting a more measured tone in light of 2 recent fatal shootings of immigration agents in Minneapolis. Aaron Dusso, a political science professor at Indiana University, believes Trump will try to shift the narrative during his speech, especially given recent criticism of his domestic immigration crackdown and declining approval ratings. But his approval ratings are 2 points higher than any of the modern presidents past the year 2000. All right. This is going to be an opportunity for him to command attention across the entire country. Foreign policy is typically not a major focus during the State of the Union address, as presidents usually prioritize domestic issues. Trump's address may be an exception, Nitcher said. In recent weeks, the administration has stepped up U.S. military presence in the Middle East to exert pressure on Iran to curb its nuclear program. The Pentagon has dispatched other large aircraft carrier to the region, that'd be the USS Ford, amid tensions around talks with Tehran is set for February 26th. That's the day after tomorrow in Geneva. Lawmakers will be closely watching any new announcements regarding Iran. In Mexico, U.S. aided operation killed El Mincho, is Nemesio Osugorio Cervantes, a powerful drug cartel leader, on February 22nd. Lawmakers and foreign policy analysts will be listening for clarity on the extent of the U.S. involvement in the Mexican military's operation. Trump is also expected to highlight the broader effects to broker peace around the world, crediting himself for ending 8 wars. According to the Nitcher, Trump may also address unresolved foreign policy issues like Greenland, Cuba, Venezuela, and the Golden Dome missile defense system, which is very important to our survival. Guests in the gallery. The White House and lawmakers will invite special guests to the State of the Union to highlight their political messages, like the Olympic hockey team. All right. Over the weekend, Trump invited the U.S. men's and women's hockey teams following their gold medal victories over Canada. The women's team unfortunately declined the invitation, citing scheduling issues. The men's team is expected to attend. Well, most of them. Some of them got to get back to the NFL, to their NHL teams. I believe the playoffs are about to begin. Democrat lawmakers have invited several people who they say were victims of sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, to include Jess Michaels and the family of the late Virginia Roberts Guthrie, who to demand legal consequences for those named in the files. You got to remember, you're innocent until proven guilty. Okay. It's like what's her name, Karen Johnson, Whoopi Goldberg, right? She said her name's listed all in there, but she didn't do nothing wrong. So, benefit of the doubt, right? Some Democrats, including Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, will be bringing constituents to raise concerns about the impact of rising tariffs and health care costs. Oh, that would be Obamacare, which the level of deductibles has been rising ever since they said the Low Cost Affordable Care Act was supposed to help lower health care for all Americans. But they keep going up no matter what. No matter how much tax dollars we put in there, they keep going up and up and up and up. I like President Trump's idea of making healthcare savings accounts. Take the money out of the hands of insurance agents and put them in the hands of Americans so they can save for their medical needs. Some Republicans are focusing on human rights and issues of China. And House Speaker Mike Johnson will host the daughter of Gulshan Abbas, an Uyghur doctor detained in China since 2018. Congressman Chris Smith from New Jersey will host Cheryl Lei, the daughter of Hong Kong media tycoon Jimmy Lai, who is serving a 20-year prison sentence. Reaction. There's been dramatic events in past states of the Union. Nancy Pelosi breaking a federal law when she ripped the federal document that's supposed to go to the National Archives. She ripped it in shreds, the State of the Union speech from President Trump, his last one he gave in February of 2020. This time the setting will be different. Seated behind Trump will be Johnson and Vice President Vance. There we go. The official response will be given by the Democrat Party, will be delivered by the Secretary General, Abigail Spanberger from the Democratic People's Republic of Virginia, and from the People's Republic of China will be Senator Alex Padilla, the guy that doesn't know how to introduce himself in the middle of a press conference until after he got slammed to the floor. So I don't want to really talk about Abigail Spanberger. I got one thing about her over here that I need to talk about. That's all. Then you have Senator Schiff, Markey, Merkley, Chris Murphy, Tina Smith, Chris Van Hollen, Congressmen Anasari, Belint, Greg Caesar from Texas, and then Veronica Escobar from Texas. She's in El Paso area. Cesar is in the San Antonio area. Then you have Jal Paul, you have Ramirez, and you have Congresswoman Coleman, and they're all expected to skip the State of the Union instead of being there and not just supporting the president because they're all Democrats, but letting the president do his constitutional duty and address the joint session of Congress. All right. So we're looking at this morning, my prediction is 1 hour and 47 minutes for the State of the Union. All right. Anybody have any comments they'd like to provide to the group, either by comment or chat? So we will see. I'm going to take some notes. I'm not going to be like some people and live stream on Rumble, because the last thing we need is a whole bunch of people on Rumble and crash the entire server system, knowing that I got to get online at 6:30 tomorrow morning to do the morning brief, and there's no Rumble because it crashed, right? So I might do some tweeting tonight or Xing, but I'm going to take some notes for it. All right. So, and then, what are we looking at? We're at 12:43. My wife is supposed to be leaving to go get burgers from the Dalmatian. See, I even use these guys, right? I don't hear, so that's a good thing. I can't just get up, leave the studio, and I don't want to leave y'all abandoned over a burger. So, in this thing right here, I have all eyes will be on Virginia Governor, or the Secretary General of the, oh yeah, see, she just left the house. That's good. All eyes will be on, in my words, the Secretary General of the Democratic People's Republic of Virginia, Abigail Spanberger, after President Trump's State of the Union address Tuesday night, as the rising star Democrat raises her national profile with the traditional rebuttal speech. Spanberger was elected to lead the Commonwealth just last year, ending Republican control in Richmond and defeating Lieutenant Governor Winsome Sears by roughly 15 points. And I read something about that situation. So Arlington, Virginia, which is part of Fairfax County, I believe, which is roughly 200,000 residents, technically should still belong to the District of Columbia. So one day someone's going to have to make a decision and reinsert that into the District of Columbia to fulfill the requirements of the Constitution regarding that no one state should favor policy inside the country, which is part of the D.C. area. But that's not for me to decide. That's for a politician. Since then, she's been hailed as one of the faces representing the future of the Democrat Party. The Socialist Party. The Virginia Democrat was likely chosen to lead this year's response to her battleground district credentials in a year when she was left is working to appeal swing voters who are turned off by Trump. And she's a dictator. Spanberger was first elected to Congress in the blue wave of 2018 by defeating incumbent Dave Bratt of Virginia by only 2%. She became the first woman to represent the district and the first Democrat elected there since the 1970s. And while such media attention has been focused on the far left squad elected that year, AOC, Omar, Tlaib, Presley, Bush, and Spanberger sought to set her apart with a clique of her own. Indeed, she and other Democrat women with national security backgrounds, because she worked for the CIA. I don't trust CIA people. Just one of these women, Houlihan, remains in the House today. However, see, they got rid of them because they're threats. Okay, anyone who works for the CIA is a threat. I said that. That's my own personal meaning. You can't trust them. All right, they have too many credentials and they know how to do covert activities and stuff. And you really can't. Okay, I'll leave it at that. All right, but she's going to lose her I think it is Arlington County. Oh, thanks a lot, man. He was talking about Arlington is in Arlington County, not in Fairfax County. So she's supposed to give the Democrat response, and Alex Padilla is supposed to give the Democrat response in Spanish, even though we speak English in the United States. All right. Let's see. It's already 12:47. So right after the State of the Union, the Sentinel Action Fund, which is a conservative Super PAC, is going to buy a 6-figure ad buy in a major move to defend President Trump. Right, $650,000 they're going to dump in political ads right after the State of the Union to defend the president. That is good. That is what we need in the United States to protect our majority in the Senate and in the House and give support to the president. He is going out of his way to travel the country to show what MAGA is about, what conservatism is about, and show that the affordability is coming back. You just got to give us a chance. You got to put pressure on the Democrats to open up the rest of the government. They're just stonewalling. They won't pass. Like we were talking about the SAVE Act. They will not allow us to pass the SAVE Act. And we have some rhino Republicans in the Senate, John Thune, John Cornyn, Lisa Murkowski, Mitch McConnell, Tom Tillis. Do I need to keep going? That do not are stonewalling left and right. Bill Cassidy is another one that are stonewalling left and right about making changes to procedures inside the Senate to allow us to be able to go forward and protect our country. That would be removing blue slips, killing the filibuster, passing the SAVE Act, and there's much more. Do another budget reconciliation bill, and make further changes into our federal government to make it better, make it all work for us. All right. Uh, the the Sentinel Action Fund is a conservative super PAC focused on Senate elections. Will announce the launch of a one-stop voter status registration website following President Trump's State of the Union address on Tuesday, geared at keeping GOP voters ready for the midterms. The group is spending $650,000 to announce the page, which will help visitors determine whether the registration is up to date in their state. Jessica Anderson, the president of the group, framed the effort as a way to clear the voter participation hurdles. Sentinel Action Fund is committed to help make this easier for Americans by launching a new, easier to use national voter registration page. Which, oh man, that's awesome. Where voters can make sure they are ready to cast their ballots this November, and where they can trust the voter information isn't going to go in the hand of extremist Democrat organizations. The ad will feature Senator Bill Hagerty from Tennessee, who highlights several of Trump's achievements in his own second term. Historically, the party that captured the White House in the presidential election faces blowbacks in the midterms. Republicans hold a vanishing slim majority in the House. In addition, is going against Democrat candidates will have also a historical precedent to maintain their grip in the current governing trifecta. To help support the president, voters must mobilize this year and ensure the president continues to receive strong partners in the Senate and in the House. The voter registration tool is designed to help them just do that. Through the Working Families Tax Cuts, DOGE, and other transformable economic policies, the administration and the Republican-led Congress have made incredible progress to reverse Biden-era failures and make American affordable, safe, and respected once again, Anderson said, referring to a handful of the administration's top priorities in its first year. In the past, Sentinel has focused on turning out absentee, early, and day return voters. Tuesday's ad by marks the group's first efforts to extend its operation to voter registration. Smart move. We need more PACs to do the same thing. Not special interest things, but let's get Republicans elected to the House, to the Senate, and maintain those majorities for the president. All right? One other thing I'm going to go over, I'm going to delay these other two articles. All right? Is I got this from hotair.com. Hold on, give me a second here. So, this was published a couple of days ago. Will we see a Supreme Court vacancy or two this summer? That is a good point. So, what this alludes to, I've already read through the article, and I'll read some of it, right? So, we have 53 U.S. senators, all right? And the filibuster doesn't pertain to Supreme Court. I don't believe the filibuster applies to Supreme Court people. But you have Samuel Alito. He just completing his 20th year on the Supreme Court. He is turning 77. You have Clarence Thomas. He's been on the court for 35 years, and he is going to be 78 years old. This summer would be a prime time for them to announce their retirement, all right, because they are getting up there in age. They're conservative. what happens if the Senate flips to the Democrats for the upcoming legislative session. You can bet that Chucky Schumer is going to be the minority leader. I have no, I don't have, I don't feel confident that the Democrats will attain a majority. So I hope and pray that we expand a majority as Republicans in the U.S. Senate, but there's always a chance. If he becomes the Senate Majority Leader, there is no way for 2 years he will allow a Supreme Court appointment by President Trump at all. We will be sitting, if those two guys retire and they're not able to replace him, we will survive with 6 justices and a Chief Justice, because he will not allow a Supreme Court nomination to go through at all. But if they retire this summer, John Thune can do 2 Supreme Court nominations and get 2 new ones approved and seated before the next legislative session. All right, or even in the lame duck session, and finish it out. All right, that is what they're going at. Could the last thing you want is someone to get sick and have to retire, or pass away while still serving, because we'll be at the mercy of the Democrats in the Senate if they were in the majority. I don't think they will be, but you never know. Politics, anything can happen. All right. What I would love to see is Sonia Sotomayor retire, because she has severe health problems, but she won't. Right. Okay, so a few things in Washington, D.C. generated much excitement and intrigue as a Supreme Court nomination showdown for decades, since the anonymous borking of then Supreme Court nominee Bob Bork in 1987. Political battle surrounding the membership of the nation's highest court was among the most contentious and raunchiest of Beltway affairs. This is why it's rather curious whether a few outside of the most fervent court watchers seem to be discussing the distinct possibility that there could be 1 or 2 Supreme Court vacancies after the current term ends this summer. Samuel Alito is 75. Justice Thomas is 77. Right? Thomas and Alito are by some order of magnitude 2 of the most principled conservative justices currently sitting on the High Court. And it would be advisable if a like-minded president replaced him with just as conservative justices on the Supreme Court. It would be nice if Justice Roberts would decide to retire. That would be something else. But I don't see that happening. He still looks pretty young. Republicans currently hold 53 to 47 majority. That's more they face. What's more, they face a remarkable favorable map this November. The GOP is defending very few, if any, swing state Senate seats, and will be having enticing Senate pickup opportunities in Georgia, Michigan, Minnesota, and New Hampshire. But to paraphrase an old quip from former Israeli diplomat Abba Eban, Republicans sometimes never miss an opportunity to miss an opportunity. Good point. According to the increasingly voluble scuttlebutt out of Washington, is that there's a chance Democrats retake not merely the evenly split House, but the Senate as well. And I don't see that. Those odds are below 50%. The online exchange Polymarket, for instance, currently places GOP odds to retain the Senate about 60%, but there's a chance it happens. Yeah. Says, is it a risk worth taking? I wouldn't risk it. I would be putting pressure on Alito and Thomas both to retire. and replace them. All right. So, what do you think? So, both of the other ones I have, one is about Newscum. One is about one of the articles I read yesterday about Jack Smith. This one's about Stephen King. Says that Trump has no kids. And this one's about Maxine Dexter from Oregon. She says that if the Democrats take the House of Representatives, they will totally dismantle immigration customs enforcement. All right. So, early voting is going on in Texas right now through the 27th of February. And then on Tuesday, March 3rd, we have our primary. And if there's no 50% plus one in a race, it goes to runoff, the actual runoff day will be May 26th, with about, I think, a week of early voting before that, for the runoff, and then onward to election day in November. There's I put out a list the other day about people I was highly recommending for election, but right now I like Governor Abbott, I like Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, I like Sid Miller for Agriculture Commissioner, I like Wesley Hunt for U.S. Senate, I like Aaron Reese for the Attorney General. I like Beau French for the Railroad Commission. I think, and then for Comptroller, I like Christy Craddock. Okay, I know there's a lot of people out there like Don Huffines, but I personally like Christy Craddock to be the Comptroller. That's our treasurer. Okay. All right, so change Supreme Court this summer. Yeah, I agree, Rob. Totally. And I got something else I'd like to tell you, but I mentioned it before, but something I would like to see done, but after the election. All right, if we still have the majority. All right, so we're after an hour. Don't forget to go vote here in Texas if you have not voted yet. I voted on Sunday with my wife. So let me see something here. I just mentioned my wife. Hold on. My wife is still... Man, I'm going to be starving to death. She's supposed to be going getting those Dalmatian burgers and stuff. She's still down there picking them up. Hopefully she's leaving really soon. Okay, so thank y'all very much for tuning in. I will see y'all at 6:30 tomorrow morning, Texas time. All right? And I hope y'all enjoyed me reading the victory or death letter from William Barrett Travis, Lieutenant Colonel, Texas Army. Right? 190 years. Wow. I don't remember it because I'm only 57 years old. But I'm a proud soldier and I understand where he comes by for what he wrote. All right. Everybody have a great day. Don't forget to watch the State of the Union tonight. Give your support to the president. And so let me get over to here. So this is my socials right here. I'm on X. I might be on X tonight at James Pierce Jr., right? That's my X account. Find it and follow it, okay? I'm one of the verified members on X. And then I might be doing some commenting on there. And I'm on Facebook. I'm on ScrewTube, True Social. And then I have an email address at jp8report@gmail.com. All right? So that is the JP8 report for February 24th. I hope everyone has a great afternoon, and I will be as soon as I can get my lunch. All right. So have a great day. This is James Pierce with the JP8 report. I'll catch you on the flip side. I'm out.